Let's talk conditional formatting in Excel because this can be a very powerful tool when you're building out spreadsheets. But what is conditional formatting? Conditional formatting is based on a set of assumptions in Excel, and you can do a lot of different things with it. How can conditional formatting be helpful? If you're trying to find data, if you know a specific number that you can look for, you can set a conditional formatting to say, if my results equal $100, highlight it green or bold it. It's simple like that. If you're looking for common numbers, if you're just trying to find something in a data set, conditional formatting can easily find it for you. Trend analysis. You're building out a spreadsheet. You're updating data. You want to highlight certain things. You want arrows. You want to put stuff in that shows things are trending one way or trending the other. Conditional formatting can be extremely helpful to do that. You can highlight a particular column or highlight a particular row. Insert conditional formatting, say if it's positive, give me an up arrow. If it's not positive, it's negative, give me a down arrow so I know which way particular data is trending. If you have reports that are updating on a regular basis, it's based upon a pivot table that has data that gets updated. Once you refresh that pivot table, if you have conditional formatting set up in your Excel spreadsheet, it can update formatting based upon updated data. So let's say you're hitting a particular sales target and you want to highlight it green when you hit that sales target. Well, when you refresh your data, if you set conditional formatting to say, this cell is greater than 100,000, highlight it green, you refresh the data, you see a green box, you know you've hit that sales data right away visually. And that's just a couple examples. You can run wild with all these different options with conditional formatting. Basically, if you have data, you have variables, you can adjust your conditional formatting to do a lot of different items. So let's go through a couple examples. We're going to do 1, how to use arrows, 2, finding a value, and 3, highlighting a value based upon percents. So let's dive into that. All right, in this first example, we're going to use arrow icons to identify if we have an unrealized loss or an unrealized gain at a glance. So I'm going to grab these icon sets and grab these arrows, the up, sideways, and down arrow. I'm going to go back into the conditional formatting because I want to change the rules, the default rules that it comes with. So with the arrow icons, I want to say, if I have a number, I'm going to change it from percent to number. If I have a unrealized gain greater than $1,000, give me a green arrow. If I have an unrealized loss greater than $1,000, give me a red down arrow. So that's what I'm doing in this situation. Now, if it falls in between, it will give me a sideways yellow arrow. And I'm going to apply this. And then quickly at a glance, I can tell if I have an unrealized gain or if I have an unrealized loss related to my stock portfolio. All right, in our next example, I want to identify quickly in column E, the closing price of Apple. I want to know if I have an even $100 closing price. Now, there's a lot of ways to do it. I'm just going to use conditional formatting to identify this. So I'm going to go highlight cells, and I want equals to or equal to. And I'm going to say, hey, I want an even $100. And if I find an even $100, give me a green fill with dark green text. So when I hit OK, it's scanning through column E, and it's going to highlight any closing stock price that is $100. So that's an easy way to, if you want to identify a number within a large data set, it'll highlight that number for you. All right, we're going to use our stock portfolio again, and we're going to look at unrealized gains and losses for that same portfolio, but we are not going to use the arrow icons this time. We're going to use a graded color scale. Very similar colors, green being unrealized gain, red being unrealized loss, and then yellow being somewhere in the middle or just break even. And again, I'm going to change the default rules. I'm going to say if I have a 5,000 or greater loss, give me red. If I have a 5,000 or greater gain, give me green. And anywhere in between, it's going to be yellowish green or a yellowish red, depending whether I have an unrealized gain or a unrealized loss. Now, I'm just going to play around with the numbers so you can see that this can be fairly automated if you have numbers that are changing. So if I start playing around with the fair market values here, just so you can see the color scale, as I start changing the numbers, you'll see the colors start changing as well. The powerful thing with conditional formatting is it can be almost automated if you have data that's being refreshed. Let's say you have a pivot table. As that data is being refreshed, you can then visually see what's happening to those numbers based upon the rules that you have put in your conditional formatting. All right, that's conditional formatting. 3 easy examples on how you can use conditional formatting. You can run wild with conditional formatting. There is a lot of options and flexibility. I hope you got something out of this today. Hope you learned something. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.